Laura, thanks so much for the time today. You run our industrial products internal audit practice. Can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing both in the corporate halls and on shop floors in terms of what issues and risks these companies are focused on?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Amanda. Certainly, I think what we're seeing in industrial products, coming out of the pandemic, companies within the sector are really facing ongoing supply chain disruptions, inflationary pressures, the challenge of scaling operations in order to meet shifting market demands. And so with these risks, we're seeing several areas of focus on audit plans. First and foremost, I would say supply chain. Supply chain fragility and the straining production and cost structures with unpredictable raw material availability, transportation bottlenecks, and geopolitical instability. We're seeing audits focused around supplier risk management, sourcing diversification, and taking a look at the supply chain resiliency plans and the effectiveness of those and safeguarding operations. Secondly, margin pressures. They're intensifying as companies continue to grapple with rising input costs and demand volatility. Energy price fluctuations globally are on the rise. Significant labor shortages and labor shortages in particular areas like touch labor and technical engineering areas as well, and just shifting customer expectations. And so with that, audit functions are taking a look and focusing on overhead allocations, inventory management, taking a look at working capital optimization, as well as cash flow optimization strategies and policies as well.
Yeah, so a little back to basics, maybe.
Absolutely. And what's interesting with all of these challenges, industrial products companies continue to significantly invest in technology and capital investments to transform their operations and partly to help mitigate some of these risks, as we're seeing with some of the shortages of labor. So significant investments in automation, AI-driven analytics. They're modernizing their ERPs, in infrastructure expansions, all to drive operational efficiency. And so from an audit perspective, we're seeing audits around the capitalization versus expense classification of these investments, taking a look at asset utilization and ROI. So really trying to provide assurance around these significant investments to management. And then fourth, I would say cybersecurity and regulatory risks. Certainly, they continue to escalate. And as manufacturers in particular are integrating IoT and AI, smart connected factories and cloud-based platforms, all of this is introducing and making them more vulnerable to cyber attacks. And so we're seeing continued, I would say, focus around cybersecurity, data governance, IT security frameworks overall, as well as third-party risk management.
Yeah, so Laura, it sounds like no lack of things to focus on given the pressure on margin, but also the continued investments that these companies are making. What are you seeing internal audit plans looking like?
Yeah, so internal audit plans, I would say broad coverage. So as we kind of think about each of these risks, coverage of financial, operational, compliance, IT, strategic risk, as well as emerging risks. So a big emerging risk in industrial products is trade policies and tariffs. That remains a emerging concern. So leaving room in the audit plan as these risks continue to unfold to address some of these emerging risks as well.
Yeah, great point, Laura. All right, more to come here, I'm sure. So appreciate your time today. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you.